Welcome back to the cryptowrld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now Bitcoin is running into this critical area of resistance again, while the price is still playing out this short-term warning signal. But Bitcoin is now moving closer towards major liquidations, while Ethereum is still repeating history in the short term. So I'll be talking about all of that and more later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, taking a look at the 4-day Bitcoin chart, and right now the super trend indicator is still sitting in the red. So over the last 1 day, not much has changed on this chart right here. And if we're taking a look at the 2-day Bitcoin chart, at least for now, the price of Bitcoin is still within this bearish trend, forming lower highs and lower lows, with this support line sitting at just above 53,000 and this line of resistance sitting at around 68,500. And so technically, Bitcoin is still forming this massive descending broadening wedge pattern, which can be a bullish pattern with a bullish price target if we actually confirm a breakout above this resistance. But obviously, as of right now, we have not seen a breakout above this resistance, which means at least for now, we have no bullish price target for this pattern right here. And so while the price of Bitcoin is still trading below this line of resistance, technically speaking, we're still within the bearish trend, at least as of right now. And if we're taking a look at this daily Bitcoin chart, right now the price of Bitcoin is running into this area of resistance again, sitting in between around 60,000 to 61,000 give or take. And we have a little bit more resistance at around 61.8k give or take, and more resistance at around 62.9k give or take. And so just in the short term, those are the levels of resistance that I'm currently paying attention to. And once again, right now the price of Bitcoin, as I've recorded in this video, is running into this area of resistance. So it is likely that the price could struggle around this area, especially as we've seen just recently. And above all of this resistance, in case we started to see a breakout back above around 63,000, in that case, we should expect some more resistance at around 64,500. And above that level right there, we have a massive area of resistance in between around 67,000 to 68.3k. And as for support, in case we see any sort of rejection here from this resistance, then in that case, we should find major support in this price range, as we've seen previously, sitting in between around 56 to 57,000, and below that support we should find some more support at around 54,000 and in between 51 to 53,000, but obviously we have support above those lower levels first. And so the situation just in the short term right now is that we're still technically playing out a bit of a relief from this bearish trend right here just in the short term. So once again, at least as of right now, the situation on this 2-day time frame is that we're technically still within a bearish trend. But as I always say, even during a bearish trend, we can see bullish reliefs from time to time, which is essentially what we're seeing at the moment. A bit of a relief, even some choppy sideways price action here during this bearish trend. That is the current situation. And we can only start flipping much more bullish again in terms of the larger trend and momentum once we start seeing some major breakouts above key levels of resistance with confirmation. So candle closes confirming above key resistance, like for example, back above at least 63,000, and ideally back above this area in between around 67 to 68.3k. Once we see a breakout above that area, then we can finally start flipping much more bullish again and expecting the price to return back up towards the all-time high, but only if we start breaking out above these key levels of resistance, which at least for now has not yet happened. And staying on the daily Bitcoin chart and taking a look at the DXY, also known as the US dollar index, and as of right now, this is still trending in the bearish direction, basically crashing to the downside right now. And I talked more in detail about this chart right here in my last video here on the channel. So if you missed that video, definitely check it out. But basically, when the DXY is bearish like this, that is usually very bullish for Bitcoin. So keep this in mind moving forward. And with that being said, zooming into the short term, looking at the 2-hour Bitcoin chart, obviously over the last 1 to 2 days here, just in the short term, we have perfectly played out this bearish divergence as expected, because like I said in my last video right around here, I said I expect a little bit of a short-term pullback with some volatility in between. I literally drew out price action like this. I said that is what I'm expecting here in the short term over the next 1 or 2 days, and we can clearly see that we've basically played exactly that out. And so now that we've played this out exactly as expected, what should we be expecting moving forward? And well, first of all, if you want to actually trade these moves in the price of Bitcoin or any other crypto, personally, I take just about all of my trades over on Bybit. So I'll make sure to leave a link to Bybit down below this video in the description and in the pinned comment. And if you use that link down below this video to make a Bybit account and deposit on that account, then you can get up to a $30,000 deposit bonus, but only if you use that link down below this video. And also, if you use that link, it'll take you to this page right here, which is a massive lucky draw happening right now over on Bybit, where you could potentially win up to $100,000 or some free Bitcoin or Ethereum or USDT or trip to an F1 race just by trading crypto using the link down below this video. And so if you're going to be trading crypto anyway, you might as well check this out. Once again, first link down below this video. But for whatever reason, if you cannot access Bybit or if you cannot KYC on Bybit, there is also Bitflex, which is another crypto exchange similar to Bybit, but you don't need KYC for Bitflex. And so I'll also make sure to leave a link to Bitflex down below this video as an alternative crypto exchange. And so now when it comes to what I'm expecting right now for the price of Bitcoin to play out in the short term, as of right now, we could likely see this bearish divergence continue to play out at least over the next few hours, maybe over the next one day, but I don't necessarily expect this bearish divergence to play out much longer than that. Because usually these patterns and signals on the 2-hour time frame usually just play out over a couple of days or so before they essentially start wearing off, because on small time frames like this, these patterns don't last for very long. And so once again, over the next one day, we could still likely see a bit of a break from the bullish price action here in the short term, with this bearish divergence still slightly playing out, but starting to wear off over the next one day. And then potentially in a day or two from now, we could start moving up towards a major level of liquidity, which I mentioned in my last video, which is sitting at around 61.8k to 62k approximately. So right at around 62k, give or take. And so once again, as I explained in my last video here on the channel just yesterday, I expected this bearish divergence to play out here in the short term, which could potentially play out over the next one day, or at least for the next few hours once again. And then potentially in a day or two from now, we could potentially see another slight move to the upside here to take out that liquidity sitting just underneath 62,000. And so that's ultimately what I'm expecting here in the short term. Something like that is one of the most likely scenarios just in the short term. Obviously, nothing's 100% guaranteed, but that is the most likely scenario that I'm seeing right now for the price of Bitcoin just in the short term. And remember, at least for now, all of this is still currently occurring within this slightly larger bearish trend on the slightly larger timeframes like the 2-day chart, at least as of right now. And with that being said, taking a look at Ethereum on the 3-day time frame, just like Bitcoin on these slightly larger time frames, we're still seeing a bearish trend for the price of ETH with lower highs and lower lows, which is a bearish trend. But of course, we have seen a bit of a bullish relief here in the short term, bouncing from this level of support at around 2,500, and we have more support in between around 2150 to 2.2k. And as for resistance, we have a significant level of resistance right at around 2.8k and some more resistance at around 3,200. And simply based on where the 3-day RSI is currently sitting at for the price of ETH right here, technically speaking, we are likely going to see a little bit more of a relief or a break from all of this bearish trend just in the short term. And once again, this can occur during a bearish trend, as we saw just here or just here, for example. But once again, based on the RSI still sitting relatively close to oversold territories, we're still likely going to see a little bit more of a relief, just a break from all of the bearish price action in the short term, in order to help to reset the RSI back to the upside, back towards more neutral levels, as one of the most likely scenarios in the coming days or potentially weeks. And if we're zooming into the short term, looking at the 6-hour time frame right now and comparing it to the 6-hour time frame back in around March, April 2020, once again, we can still see very similar price action at the moment to what we saw back here. And as we saw previously, we need to see a breakout above the range high, which back then was sitting at around 145 to 150, give or take. But this range high right here for the price of ETH currently is sitting very close to 2.8k. So once again, 2,800, 2.8k, that is the level to break for the price of ETH in order to finally start flipping a decent bit more bullish again here in the short term. And the good news, at least for now, is the price of ETH is still holding above this ascending line of support, still forming higher lows just in the short term here. And right now, this line of support is sitting at very close to 2.6K. But once again, even if we see a breakdown from this ascending line of support, we still have some major horizontal support very close to 2.5K. And so 2.5K is also a critical level of support, but if we were to see a break below 2.5K, then in that case, basically we're no longer repeating history and we would likely see a retracement back down towards these lows at around 2.3K, give or take, once again, if 2.5K breaks, which obviously as of right now has not happened. So the situation in the short term is that we're still basically looking relatively neutral, just chopping around sideways in a bit of a sideways price range in the imminent short term right now, as I've already said over the last few days. And then, like I've been saying, if we see a breakout above 2.8K, then we can finally start flipping more bullish again, expecting a move back up towards above $3,000 if 2.8K actually breaks. And other than that, once again, we're still looking neutral here in the short term. And all of this, at least for now, is still occurring within a larger bearish trend. As of right now, that is the current situation. And if we're taking a look at the price of Solana on the daily time frame, we're seeing similar price action here in the short term, a very slight bullish relief with a lot of choppy sideways price action, basically volatility in between. And ultimately, this is happening right around this major area of support in between around 139 to 144, approximately, still acting as strong support. But if we were to see a major break to the downside here, and especially if we flipped that area into new resistance, then in that case, we have this critical area of support in between around 120 to 128. And as for resistance, we still have a lot of resistance right around here at around 159 to 163, give or take. And we have more resistance in between 170 to 175 and significant resistance in between 183 to 187. And so the situation in the short term is that we're playing out a very slight bullish relief. We don't really have a lot of bullish momentum right now, but this support is still holding as strong support, which is why we're seeing a very slight bullish relief as we're seeing a bit of a rebound from the buyers buying in this range right here. But once again, we're lacking the bullish momentum, so we're not overly bullish right now. And ultimately, when we're looking at the larger trend on this daily time frame, we're still basically in a massive sideways price range with the larger trend looking relatively neutral with relatively horizontal highs and horizontal lows. And once again, if you want to trade these moves in the price of any crypto, check out those links down below this video to claim those extra bonuses. And if you want to actually know how to trade crypto, no matter if the price is bullish, bearish, or chopping around sideways like right now, then make sure to watch these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how you can profit from bullish or bearish price action using long positions or short positions, and the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.